Now it's time to expand your comfort zone. Getting out of your comfort zone is very important because when we're in our comfort zone, we're stuck, we have plateaued. And if you really want to improve and grow, then getting out of your comfort zone is what you need to do. So let's talk about how important it is that we recognize that life and games are just like a mirror. They reflect who you are, just like the people you hang out with, your bank account, your businesses, your salaries, your relationships, your car, your clothes. All of those things recognize and reflect who you are. Now, if we didn't stop and pay attention to that, then we will be encountering problems and doing nothing about them, and they will just be going around and coming around, gathering mass and getting bigger and bigger in our lives. Not serving us at all, but we're not changing our behaviors because we're not taking the time to recognize what those problems are and how we can deal with them. Now, when we run from our problems or we try to bury our head in the sand and feel that it will go away if we ignore it, it will not. It will just keep getting bigger. So, as you travel the roadways of life, you have to recognize that just like on the natural road where there are reflectors in the middle of that road to tell you that you need to get back in your lane or you're out of your lane. If you did not listen to those taps that you hear when you go over those reflectors, you would not know that you need to get back in your lane or that you're crossing the line. So, you could run into a 4 by 4, and if you continue to ignore those taps and those songs, you can end up in front of a Mack truck, and we know there is not a high possibility of coming back from that. So when we encounter problems, when we encounter situations, when we recognize that one of our behavior or many of our behaviors are not serving us in the best possible ways, we have got to feel the tap, see the signs, listen for the change that we need to make. And when you're making change, remember that you're going to fall down from time to time. When you were learning to walk as a baby, you fell down, but you did not stay down. So what you're doing now is also recognizing that you are going to fall down, you are going to experience some amount of failure, but you should not stay down. You get up again. And even in business, in sales, in marketing, anything that you do, you have to recognize that you're going to get rejection. Everybody will not like you. Everybody will not want the product that you have. But you have to keep getting up again. You have to keep getting up. You have to keep going out there. You have to keep trying because change is hard. And in order to change, you need to keep trying. So get up out of your comfort zone. And when you're ready to change, apply the formula for change. Now let me share with you what the formula for change is. The formula for change says that D times V plus F is greater than R. Now the R represents resistance. In our lives, when we need to change, there is always going to be some resistance. And resistance is usually there because we are afraid of something. For example, the fear of failure, the fear of what other people might think, the fear that we will not be able to continue, that we do not have the right ability, it's not the right time. All of these fears surround us, and that causes us to be a little resistant to step out and to make the change that's necessary. We may also be resistant because change is painful. Let's say you wanted to lose weight, but you recognize that going to the gym and exercising is painful. So that change is so painful that you're resistant to it. You may be resistant to change because you are impatient and change takes time sometimes and you're not willing to give yourself that time and that room to grow. So you figure it's not worth it anyway. So the resistance could be very great, and oftentimes it really is. Whatever reason it is that we are not stepping out as we should, that we are not making the change in our lives that we should, is because the resistance to do it is very big. Now you want to reduce that resistance. Let's say that resistance is at a 50%. We want to reduce that resistance because it's keeping us back. Now, if you try to reduce the resistance, then you're looking at the other side of the formula, which says that dissatisfaction times vision plus the first step is what needs to be greater than the resistance. Now, if you were thinking about exercising and you're very resistant to exercise because you're afraid of failure and you also are not open to experiencing the pain that goes along with that activity. So your resistance is at a 50. If your dissatisfaction is not strong enough, let's say your dissatisfaction is just that you want to be able to look good. That's the only dissatisfaction you feel. And that's at a 20. Looking good is at a 20. Then the vision that you paint for yourself is of a certain number. You've created a certain amount reset. In order to reduce that resistance from 50, you need to look at working out or becoming dissatisfied. Knowing that you need to change and being dissatisfied with your current position are two different things, because we know that smoking is dangerous for our health. We know that being overweight or being obese is dangerous to our health, but that does not encourage us to do anything. It is when we become dissatisfied with our weight, dissatisfied with our health, dissatisfied with how we are living our lives, that's when we are going to be able to make a change. Dissatisfaction, however, is not enough. Dissatisfaction might, in this case, be a 5 if it was just the fact that we know it might just be a 5. If that dissatisfaction is at a 5 and where we want to go is at another 5, when we multiply the two, 5 5s 25, that's not enough. And then the first step that we need to take, if that's also at a 5, then we're only at 30. So the resistance is really higher, much higher. In order to increase that, we need to find those strong enough reasons to want to change, become dissatisfied with your current position, and then create a vision. Where would you like to be? What does the end result look like? So at this place, you're beginning with the end in mind. Where is it that I want to go? And you paint that picture for yourself. It may mean putting a poster up on the wall with that ideal body weight. It may mean putting a picture up of somebody who you admire and whose body type and how their body shaped you admire, so that you can say that is going to be me, and it's a constant motivator that encourages you to be consistent in whatever it is that you're doing. And when you're going to start, don't make a long list of all of the things that you need to do and you need to get them done within the next week or within the next 5 minutes. Just think about the first step that you need to take. What is the first step that you need to take in order to reduce the resistance that you're experiencing, in order to come out of your comfort zone? What is the first step that you need to take? In case of the weight, is it that you need to now look in your schedule to see how many hours a week you can assign to exercising? Does that need to be your first step? Is it that you need to go join a gym? Is that your first step? Is it that you need to go purchase an exercise machine, one that will work specifically to the needs that you have? What is the first step that you need to take? Now, when you combine those, when your dissatisfaction with where you are is so high, and the vision that you've created for yourself is even higher, when you multiply the two and you add the first step, it's going to be greater than any resistance you experience. And the same is applicable to any situation that you need to change, or anything that you want change to be the main ingredient of. Everything else in life, they say, could happen, may happen, but change is the only constant. It's going to happen. So, if change is so inevitable, why not be proactive about it? Why not think about, how can I get to that place where I am not so resistant to change, but I'm open to change, especially in myself, so that I can grow and become valuable.